Candace Owens obliterates Kamala Harris and her claims of black lineage. Also, it appears as if black celebrities are starting to stand on business and side with Trump. All that and more on episode number 89 of Up to Speed with Trip Simpson.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audience.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Art. A to the RT. So many niggas want beef, go to Arby's. Not too many rappers in this game that can stop me feeling cocky. Cause my flow hella stocky. Yeah, and I does this shit. Flow sick, something like when your two cousins kiss. Ill. And y'all niggas know who run this shit. They out of breath. Tell the coach I need 100 bricks. Let me cook them in the oven quick. Take them out when these percussions kick. Yeah, and it was never really a discussion, kids. Trade you to another team like the Russians did. Whoa, what a bitches that be sucking dick. Hit me up, you know I love that shit. Yeah. And it's all go when I touch that bitch. Pass it to me, watch me clutch that shit. Swish, swish.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Up to Speed with Trip Simpson. I am your host, Trip Simpson, in the building.
The first of his name, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms and Protector of the Realm.
That's right. And before we get this live stream started tonight, you know, first and foremost, we got to handle business. Let's get it.
Family moving up in the business. I know you're gonna look after family.
What family you talking about, Ice?
Fuck, I look invisible, nigga.
That's right, I am not invisible. So do me a favor. If you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that share button for me. If you're watching live on Twitter or X, hit that heart button, hit that retweet button for me. Also, if you're watching on Facebook, hit that like button, hit that share button. And remember, no matter what platform you're watching on tonight, please remember to hit the live chat below. Please help me get this video or this live stream off into the algorithm. Let's get it. All right, got a lot I want to talk about. I would definitely want to talk about this Candace Owens situation. I want to talk a little bit about the Janet Jackson, Kamala Harris situation, and a couple of other things. First, let me pour a little bit of my psychedelic water. It's good shit. Good alternative to alcohol. But anyways, first, what do we have? Oh yeah, first, Dr. Umar is back at it with the Puff Daddy defense once again. That's right, Dr. Umar is back at it. Now, if you guys remember, on my last live stream, we discussed Dr. Umar and his take on Diddy and the statements that he made that stuck out to me with his thoughts on Diddy was his complaints about black people being distracted by the government with the whole situation. All right, so real quick, what I want to do is give you guys a refresher. So I'm going to go to a statement that he made a couple of days ago, talking about how the whole Diddy situation is a distraction. All right, so let's get to that. And then I'll take us to his.
Sean Puffy Combs' federal charges have little, if anything, to do with domestic abuse or pedophilia. His major sex crime federally is he's being accused of transporting women across state lines to engage in sex. What we call prostitution. Not Casey, not the freak-offs, not underage girls, but prostitution. Why am I bringing this up? Because I don't support prostitution either. I do not support men paying for the sugar box. I do not support black women having to sexually exploit their sugar box in order to pay their bills. With that being said, prostitution is the oldest female business on the planet Earth. Prostitution is the oldest female business on the planet Earth. Prostitution is the oldest female business on the planet Earth. It is the sexual trafficking that Sean Puffy Combs is being accused of. Not domestic abuse, not freak-offs, not stomping out Cassie, not engaging in sex with underage women. It is interstate sexual trafficking.
Okay, so boom. There you hear it. That's his first video where he's caught defending Diddy. And here's where he says it's a distraction.
The timing.
Here we go.
You know why they gave black people Puff Daddy during election season? You know why they gave black people Puff Daddy during election season? The reason they gave you Puff Daddy during election season, the reason they decided to serve up Sean Puffy Combs a few weeks before the election is they want to distract you from the laws that they are passing. They want to distract you from the policies that they are enacting. They want to distract you from the initiatives that they are implementing. This is a distraction. And because they know black people love to see black people disgraced, humiliated, and destroyed.
Here we go. All right, so that's enough for that. Like I said, I went over this last live stream. And basically Umar's on record defending Puff. And he's on record saying that this whole scenario is a distraction. Now, what's funny to me is that before and after that post, Dr. Umar has been posting about it almost every damn day. I mean, the hypocrisy from this dude is mind-blowing at this point. Now, not only has Dr. Umar been posting about a Diddy every day, he also claims that he's not defending Diddy. As you can see, he has been. But he's doing that while simultaneously defending him. All right, now, check out this Umar, another recent Umar Instagram post where Umar goes on to say he's not defending Diddy. All right? Let's get to that. Give me 1 second. Where the hell is it at? Hold on, give me a second. Jesus, man. One second. I gotta find this damn thing. Hold on. All right, here we go. So here's Umar Johnson saying he's not defending Diddy. All right, can y'all see that? All right, so here's what he had to say. All right, so he says, question. Dr. Umar, the YouTubian struggle streamers are pushing a narrative that you're defending Sean Combs' use and abuse of power against our women. They are taking your words out of context. Will you be responding? He says, answer. I have no need to respond. I never once said Sean Combs was innocent or should not be held liable for alleged crimes that are proven in court of law. I said that there is a racist history of publicly shaming and convicting black men in the court of public opinion long before they have been afforded their constitutional due process and convicted of any crimes. I further said that the racist American media also has tendency to assassinate one's character as part of a public lynching by using past deeds and actions that have nothing to do with charges in question. All right, so there we have it. So basically Umar saying he's not defending Puffy, right? But then the next day, he posts this.
Movements that I've ever launched, and it's called Our Black Party.
Okay.
It's time for us to have our own black political party. unapologetically. Because right now, if you look at the debates, we're not even a part of the conversation.
Not at all.
We're not a part of the conversation. We don't have any political power. We don't have any political leverage. And so we started our Black Party with some young, fearless Black activists, elected officials, and I've stepped up and put the money behind it. Mm-hmm. This is the biggest threat and the only option that we have right now as far as making a change, taking our own self-responsibility and accountability to be educated and empowered with our vote.
So what's the goal for our Black Party?
Our Black Party's number one goal is to unify behind a Black agenda. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. You could be a part of the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, you could be an independent, but if you Black, you wasn't born Republican, you wasn't born Democrat, you wasn't born independent, you was born Black. Mm-hmm. And we have to seize our political power, because it'll just be more of the same. Being pushed this way, being pushed that way, and we expecting a different result. Mm-hmm. But the definition of insanity is like doing the same thing over and over the same way, expecting a different result, and it's not gonna happen. Mm-hmm. So we have to change the tone. We gotta start with us stepping up and really taking the responsibility and accountability to be a part of this political movement.
The hardest part of that is going to be getting other Black people to buy into it.
This is not for all Black people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? This is not for the scary ones. Mm-hmm. This is for the ones that want to move things forward and want to get to the smoke.
All right, so wow. All right, so pretty much Umar Johnson posted that throwback video of Diddy, because he's pretty much trying to give you the whole Diddy was trying to buy NBC spiel. And that's why they locked him up. Except in this instance, we have Diddy claiming that he wants to start a Black political party, which is just utter nonsense. So, first off, white people are not scared of Diddy or any of the other race-baiting Negroes he hired for fake-ass hip-hop, for his fake-ass hip-hop super PAC. Diddy has been in bed with the Democrats since the Obama administration, and nothing has changed. Yeah, he's talking cool in that interview, but what's funny is that not too long after he said all that bullshit to Charlemagne, he hosted a town hall for the Kamala Harris campaign in 2020. So you tell me, how in the hell is this woman that openly admitted that she wasn't going to do anything for Black people, how is this promoting a Black agenda? How? She openly admitted that she didn't have an agenda and had no intentions of getting one during that same campaign. As a matter of fact, check this out. Check this article out. Just so y'all know I ain't BSing. Right? The proof is right here. Vice President Kamala Harris has come under fire Wednesday as an old tweet of her thanking disgraced rapper Sean Diddy Combs for hosting a fundraiser for her first presidential campaign resurfaced after the hip-hop mogul's arrest on sex charges. So there we have it. He hosted, not only did he do a town hall for her, he also hosted a fundraiser for her. But this is the same man telling Charlemagne the God that he's tired of the same old thing, and it's insane to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Well, we've been voting for Democrats for the past 60-something years. So how is it not insane to throw a fundraiser for a woman who openly admitted that she wasn't going to do anything for you? No need to read the rest of the article. I just wanted to get to that point. That's the point. That's the only point I wanted to make there. All right, so there we have it. Nice try, Umar. But the Diddy victim narrative isn't working. They got the tapes, they got the witnesses, they got the weapons, they got the drugs, and most importantly, they got the baby oil. All right, let's get on to the next topic. All right, so up next, what we got? Oh yeah, we got more crazy liberals on TikTok with Trump derangement syndrome. And real quick, let me say this. To all you people who say I only criticize black women when it comes to politics, that's a damn lie. I criticize white liberal women just as much or maybe even more than I do black women because honestly, they are the ones who keep this bullshit going. They're the ones that put the battery pack in y'all's backs. But anyways, let's get to this video. Check this crazy broad out. Shit ain't working. Here we go. What the hell is going on here? All right, here we go. What's going on with my TikTok, man? Give me a second. I don't know what's going on with my damn TikTok.
Remember in the debate when Trump said he absolutely...
All right, hold on. Damn. Here we go. Check this out.
I just saw a heartbreaking video of a woman who realized now, 8 years in, that her husband is a Trump supporter. I can't even imagine that. But I would get a divorce immediately, and there are going to be Republicans on the internet that are really mad about this because I'm spreading hate and divisiveness. But like, I want people to have control over their own bodies. He doesn't. I want women to be able to do whatever they want. He doesn't. He doesn't even want us to be able to vote.
Here we go. All right, let me stop her right there. Let me stop her right there real quick. See, this is the problem with modern women in America right now. They have been so spoiled to the point where now they believe it's their God-given right to do literally whatever they want. They want the God-given right to do whatever they want with no consequences. That serious problem that's going to have to get addressed sooner than later because it's not conducive to a functioning society for anyone, regardless of gender or sex. It doesn't benefit anyone to let people do whatever they want to do. Life is a compromise for the most part. It's give and take. Nobody can have it all. But then again, these are the same people that claim they're fighting for equality. These are the same damn people. All right, let's continue.
I want it to be easier for people to vote in elections. And he said, if you vote this time, you'll never have to do it again. So people who say that it's divisive to think like that politically, I would not be able to live in the same house with someone who had such fundamentally different beliefs. How could you love someone that supports a person who wants to strip you of your rights, that wants you to bleed out in a hospital room rather than giving you the abortion care that you need?
All right. Okay. Now, first off, when did Trump ever say he was against abortion? When did he ever say that? Trump never said that. He said he was against abortions in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th month, or if the baby has a viable chance of living outside the womb. He also said he was for exceptions for sexual assault, incest, and a life or death situation for the mother. He said this on several occasions. As a matter of fact, he reiterated it at the 3 versus 1 debate against Kamala Harris in ABC News. But that's what these people do. They push false narratives of shit that they know isn't true just to scare you. Now, here's another concern I have about the direction modern women are going. All right, check out this chart real quick. I want you to check out this chart from the Wall Street Journal. All right, let me get this off the screen real quick. All right, let me get this Wall Street Journal thing up. Check out this chart from the Wall Street Journal. All right, can y'all see that? All right, now, this chart shows the concern for the average male and female adults ages 21 to 29 in the United States. Look at these results. Now, for the men, the economy, democracy, immigration, and inflation were the top 4 concerns. And what's interesting is that the women could clearly care less about any of those things if you just look at the chart. Now, go down to abortion. Go down to abortion. This is insane. Look at the concern that young women have for abortion. It's like through the roof. Like they don't, you can see on the chart, they literally don't care about anything else. This is really sad. This is really sad. The men clearly care about the goddamn future, and the women apparently don't want a future. How do you prioritize the ability to have reckless, unprotected intercourse over the economy or protecting your country from foreign invaders? Now, I'm not saying it was right to do, but I understand why they were hesitant on giving women the right to vote. I mean, ladies, how do you justify this? How? There are 33 forms of birth control widely available to you, and y'all choose not to use them. Then, when the bun pops in the oven, you want the right to totally skip out on your responsibility. Now, imagine if men had the right to skip out on their responsibility and not be liable for child support. Y'all would call him a deadbeat dad. What should you be called? Anyways. Get this off the screen. Anyways, the good news is that black people are definitely starting to smarten up. Now, I was scrolling through Twitter the other day and ran across this black man's video who shared the moment where he realized he was being lied to and that Trump wasn't a racist. All right, let's check that out.
People, when was the moment that they came to the conclusion Donald Trump is racist? A lot of people said the Central Park 5. We'll talk about that in another video. For me personally, it was the very fine people on both sides thing.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
I remember seeing that clip and feeling like, wow, maybe he is racist. And I just happened to come across this video on YouTube. It basically said that the clip was edited and that I should go back and watch the entire clip. So I watched the entire thing. It got to that point where he says very fine people on both sides. And I'm like, see, that's exactly, I knew he said that. There's no point in me even continuing to watch this. And then it goes on and it gets to the part where he's like.
And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists because they should be condemned totally.
So he said he wasn't talking about the neo-Nazis and white supremacists. Why would they show me part of the story and make me feel like this? Even in the presidential debate against Joe Biden, he brought up the very fine people thing.
And Kamala Harris did the same thing. That's one of the main things they do. They bring up the very fine people farce. And it's been proven over and over again to be a lie. But the ABC News moderators didn't correct that. They let that slide. That's how you know this is a sham.
He said, I think they're fine people on both sides. What American president would ever say Nazis coming out of fields carrying torches, singing the same anti-Semitic bile, carrying swastikas were fine people?
Kamala Harris just brought it up on the recent debate.
Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
People are still saying it even though it's been debunked. Snopes just added this shit in 2024 that was a lie. He supposedly said in 2017. He dropped out of a presidential race because white supremacists joined his same party.
I'm not going to be running. The party is, as you know, self-destructing.
When you say the party is self-destructing, what do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now?
Well, you've got David Duke just joined. A bigot, a racist, a problem.
You can't make this up, man. You can't make this up. This man has disavowed white supremacy a million times. As a matter of fact, I did a show on it a while back where I played this YouTube video of Trump disavowing white supremacy 100 times. Literally 100 times. And it shows the media asking him over and over and over again, why won't he condemn it? And he condemned it. Let's continue.
I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
Then you find that clip of him with Jesse Jackson.
Beyond that, in terms of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too. And created for many people a comfort zone when I ran for the presidency in 84 and 88.
and many others thought it was either laughable or something to avoid, he came to our business meeting here in New York because he has this sense of the curious and a will to risk to make things better. And so aside from all of his style and his pizzazz, he's a serious person who's an effective builder of building people. Last year he was a part of our workshop, of our panel workshop on what are the challenges and opportunities. And so a year later, Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
This is Jesse Jackson, the king of race baiting, bringing up Donald Trump to speak at one of his campaign rallies or whatever this is. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump was one of the biggest donors to Jesse Jackson's campaign. Now, all of a sudden, he's a racist. Can't make it up, man.
Well, it is an honor to be here.
You see the clip with him on The View and him and Whoopi Goldberg, she's saying that they're friends.
Because I don't think I'm going to get Whoopi's vote.
If you did, let me just ask, if you did beat...
And she likes me. She even put me in the movies. She put me in the movies, right? A long time ago. So how much did I judge? Nothing.
Like they say in the
It was a preview.
If you did beat Obama, though.
People love this guy. Like Oprah saying that he should run for president.
Do you have a vice presidential candidate in mind?
Well, I really haven't gotten quite there yet.
It's just
Oprah. I love Oprah. Oprah would always be my first choice. Oprah, your competitor, right?
No, Oprah's competitor.
You know what?
No
I'll tell you, she's really a great woman, though. She is a terrific woman. She's somebody that's very special.
Judge Joe Brown said,
I've talked to a number of black entrepreneurs who back in the late 80s and 90s, early 90s, were trying to get financing. They couldn't. Somebody told them to go check with Donald Trump. So they come back and tell me they got a loan from Donald Trump. He gave them a term loan. Show up with the interest and the principal, one check. But they had to go see him personally. They independently relate this tale that when they saw him, he said, this what you supposed to pay me? This our agreement? So yeah. And then tore the check up, shook their hands, and congratulations. Now run your business.
And this was when?
This was back in the 90s.
Waka Flocka talks about how he showed him how to increase his wealth.
Get a C Corp to run an LLC. If you want to make it even deeper, go get a trust fund to run a corp that runs the LLC. You want to get even deeper, own two trust funds for your business and your person to run that trust that runs all the business. It can get deep, my guy.
Absolutely.
And Donald Trump actually showed me that method.
People will say that they want truth, but when you try to present them with information that goes against their beliefs of Donald Trump, they act like this.
He's condemned white supremacy over 20 times.
Oh yes, when? Could you tell me when?
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to see a video of montage of 20 times that he's done it?
Oh, actually no. I'm more interested in walking up in.
But how are we going to learn if we don't challenge our ideas? I mean, you just made a statement that is actually inaccurate, and I can show you video evidence of why it is. I mean, would you like to see that?
No, thank you.
He's condemned white supremacy and the KKK over 20 times.
Over 20 times?
Yeah.
Do you have them right here? Can I listen to it?
Absolutely, you can. Let me pull it up for you right now.
All right. What's that?
By the way, I'm James. How's your day going, man?
It'd be a lot better if you guys were wearing masks.
We can socially distance.
I gotta go.
I mean, so there we have it, man. Clap it up for this brother. It's a rather long video. We don't have to play the whole thing, but I mean, it's all over Twitter. More and more people have been seeing it. As a matter of fact, Elon Musk shared this video, and it got like 36 million views on X. But yeah, now, even some celebrities are starting to speak up. Now, I was watching the It Is What It Is show with Cam and Mase the other day, and they had Mike Tyson on there. Then the topic of Donald Trump came up, and you'd be very surprised to see what the responses were. So, without wasting any more time, let's get to that.
Wait, you don't...
1 second. Hold on, Jesus. All right.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to Northrop Grumman. Let me show you what we do.
1 second, people. My shit's all out of whack today. All right, here we go.
Election.
All right, here we go. Check this out.
What
why are they finding footage? Why my guy Nick is finding footage? What's his name, Seth?
Mark Robinson.
You not see this nigga? No, my guy is good. He gonna find some footage for us. While he's finding that, what you think about this election?
Trump's gonna win.
Is that who you want to win?
Yeah, that would be nice if he win. Yeah.
Why do you want Trump to win?
That's his man.
Yeah, he a wild nigga though, right? Trump one of them don't give a fuck type niggas. Is that the reason you want to win?
Nah, he's just a good man. You know, listen, I don't agree with all this shit. Like, nobody agrees with all my shit, but, you know, they're good people.
Right.
I mean, no one's perfect in this world. Everybody got their shit, you know.
Right.
Mike, wasn't you at the Trump party back in the days?
All the time. I
think we was all there.
I'm the reason it was the party. It was my party. It was my party. He used to put me. I used to fight in his hotel when I was a kid.
Word?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
15 times there.
Nah, that's what's up, man. Who you voting for, Murder?
You know I'm conservative, so I'm probably on the side of Trump.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you looking at me for?
I thought you were gonna answer.
She didn't like my answer.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
She looked at me like
I didn't say anything.
Women power and all that. Killer don't think I am, but I'm for
I never said that.
Also not
getting there from
correlation.
Why would you throw me in that? I never even said. First of all, I've never voted in my life. I know people.
No, you never did.
I'm like
That's what I was gonna say. You said you
Hey, listen.
They'll say
I never voted either. I got to be honest. The only time I ever voted was for, and I don't know what to vote for Obama. I just did that out of blackness.
Out of the black, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never voted. No, and I know people like, your vote counts, this, that, and the third, but it was just, see, look, one of these.
And you know what it is about Trump. You know, like if you know somebody, and then they get to the place where they're running for president, you almost feel like a hater if you don't vote for them because you know this nigga.
Yeah.
And it's like you ain't vote for somebody.
This is what it is. This is what it is, right? He's president. I got love for him. I'm always I live not far from him. I'm always at his house. He's showing me love. His wife, his kids, they all show my family love. Hey, the other people never going to show me that love. This other lady, she's not going to show me no love.
And that's what I was about to say about me voting. It's never like I've seen a president that made a difference for me growing up. It wasn't like, yo, if this nigga win, he gonna come through.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna end up seeing him. I just never really felt like it made a difference. Now, what I will say is this:
Did
Murder,
the PPP matter?
I wasn't a part of that. I don't know.
A lot of chicken.
Yeah. I didn't get PPP or none of the loans, but
Nah, but listen, when you think about this, you know, they're not gonna help me get my friends out of prison that got life sentences and shit.
Yeah, no,
they're not gonna help me. They're not gonna help me.
And we'll leave it right there. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not really shocked at Tyson's response because him and Trump have been tight for years. As a matter of fact, when Tyson was caught in that whole sexual assault charge back in the day, Trump was the only one of the only people to come out and defend him publicly. Now, I had a feeling Mase was on the conservative side of the aisle, but I didn't expect him to say it publicly. So shout out to Mase. I definitely didn't expect that. I didn't expect Mase to say that publicly. But for the most part, and that's like why I say why I'm a little why I was a little shocked that Mase said that, is because these hip hop dudes be scared to give their real opinion because they're scared of being canceled. So I definitely commend him for having the testicular fortitude to stand on business. Now, as far as Cam goes, I think he kind of aligns with Mase and Tyson, but I think he's kind of trying to keep it neutral because I don't think he wants all that unnecessary liberal smoke. And to a certain degree, I don't blame him. Mase already held it down, and the point got across. So Killer didn't really have to beat the dead horse. It's clear where the real men stand. It's clear where we stand.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
It's clear.
Are you the greatest? You know what I'm talking about?
But we've even got some black women celebrities that are standing on business. We got black women. Now, I know most of you heard that Janet Jackson came out and basically said she heard Kamala Harris wasn't black. And of course, the black media, along with the mainstream liberal media, went ape shit and tried to cancel Janet Jackson. But that didn't work. As a matter of fact, one of her employees, or should I say her former employee, came out with an apology statement that later got denounced by the Jackson camp. As a matter of fact, that same employee was fired, and Jackson stated that she had no apology or intention of giving an apology for her statements on Kamala Harris. And it's interesting because now people are calling her out for giving quote unquote misinformation about Kamala's race. Everybody from D.L. Hughley, which is also shocking, because whom, by the way, was also threatened to be canceled for giving his opinion on Kamala a while back. But everybody from D.L. Hughley to Baller Alert to The View all came to Kamala's defense, basically trying to validate her blackness. But the question still remains. As a matter of fact, it remains unanswered. What ethnicity is Kamala Harris's father? Now, of course, your mainstream blacks are claiming that Kamala's father is black. However, Kamala's father himself never acknowledged being black and only ever spoke of his Irish slave-owning family. As a matter of fact, according to Judge Joe Brown, Kamala's father is actually half Irish white and half Jamaican Indian. And that makes a whole lot of sense because there is a huge Indian population in Jamaica. Don't quote me on this, but I believe they call them coolies or something like that. I think they call them coolies. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. But anyways, enter Candace Owens. The other day, Candace did a live that pretty much blew the roof off the entire situation. And then today, she followed up with another live to back that up. So what we're going to do is, we're going to get into our main topic. But before we get into our main topic, I'm going to bring our co-host, King Khufu, a.k.a. Mase. We're going to bring him in. All right? Give me a second. Get Mase on board. Mase, what's happening?
What's going on? What's going on?
Ain't too much, man. What, you got a damn wolf back there? What the hell is that?
Nah, goddamn dog.
God damn. All right, man, what's going on with you, man, before we start, man? What you got to say?
I saw that video, man, from when you sent me earlier. I was like, wow. It blew my mind. It blew my mind.
Oh, yeah, matter of fact, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that right about now. So here it is. We have the Candace Owens and let me fix the screen real quick. Sorry about that, people. All right, we're going to get this Candace Owens video going in a second. Let me just fix some things real quick. Oops. Damn. All right.
And she really breaks it down in the video too. Like the whole genealogy, she breaks it down.
She definitely does. All right, so yeah, let's get to it. All right, so we're gonna play this Candace Owens joint. Let's get down to business.
Instinct, the photos that were being presented of Kamala and her grandparents.
Oh no.
I did just a brief search online and found out that Beryl allegedly died 4 years before Kamala was born. So that's a major red.
Oh, wait a minute. Might not be the right video. Hold on. Let me get to the right video. That is one of them, but that's not the first one.
As I say, I'm just asking.
All right, here we go.
And so what that meant was even if you had a name, if you couldn't read and write, looked at her marriage certificate, suddenly you can.
Oh, wait a minute. Damn, what am I doing? Okay, bam.
Find birth certificates and marriage certificates. And good for her. I'm glad she fired him. I am so tired of people being so fake, having to apologize for something that should not have yielded any response from the media. In fact, it should have been the opposite. They should have went ahead and investigated the claim that Kamala Harris is black, gotten to the bottom of it fully. But instead, it was a media pylon. And then, after being fired, Mo added to that pylon by referring to Janet Jackson as unbalanced. Like, the person who just worked for her came out and was like, she's unbalanced. I mean, with friends like that, who needs enemies? Then came me. I don't know. I guess I really am the person that has been in these streets, Kamala, because I decided to simply look into her genealogy. Because why on earth is the world trying to convince me that this woman is suddenly black? Like, they just decided she was black because she's running and because there is evidence, it is true, that her father grew up in Jamaica. Your race does not magically change because of where you grow up, okay? If I grow up in Sweden, I don't get to suddenly say I'm white, okay? And what I discovered was quite startling. Now, I'll ask you, when did you first get the idea that Kamala was black? Well, you'll say, yeah, when she kind of started running with Joe Biden. And that claim really came from Kamala herself. When they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, they understood that. Kamala Harris published a book in 2019 called The Truth That We Hold. And presumably the book was filled with truth that she was holding. I had a look through it. And I saw this picture of her and her grandmother, clearly a black-looking grandmother, on page 282 in the photograph section. It reads, as you can see, visiting my paternal grandmother, Beryl, in Jamaica. Also on that same page, there's another photo of her. Again, you can see it's black and white. I'm not quite sure why it is black and white, but it says, when I was 10 months old, I visited Spanish Town, Jamaica. This is me with my mother and my paternal grandfather, Oscar Joseph. And now this guy looks mixed. He looks Asian of some description, but you can see the idea here is that she's definitely trying to introduce, in a manner of photos, things that make her race look more complicated.
All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, bear with me. This is like a 20-something minute video, but there's a lot of information in here, and I want you guys to pay attention because we're going to have a discussion about this when it's over. Also, do me a favor, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the share button. If you're watching live on Facebook, hit the like button, hit the share button. Same thing on X or Twitter. Hit that like button, hit that retweet button. Also, comment in the live chat below, no matter what platform you're on. Let's help this video get off into the algorithm. All right, let's get back to it.
So I just decided to investigate that, and immediately things got weird, very weird. First and foremost, because it was very easy for me to determine via just a light search online that Beryl, her alleged paternal grandmother that you just saw, died 4 years before Kamala was born in 1960. So last night we decided to continue our research to see if we could find birth certificates and marriage certificates and death certificates, which could further signify those points. And indeed it did. And it also raised even more questions about her genealogy. So let's go through those. Here is the birth certificate for her paternal grandmother. This is Kamala's paternal grandmother, Beryl. Okay, now you can see on this birth certificate that Beryl is spelled with an I. It's Beryl Magdalene. And you can see the reason why we know this is the correct Beryl is because the mother is listed as Iris Finnegan. Later on, we're going to show you in the book, she names Iris Finnegan as her great grandmother. So that would be Beryl's mother. So we have the right woman. Also, formerly, her maiden name is Allen. That is true. It also says here that she's born in October of 1917 in St. Anne. That's the St. Anne parish of Jamaica. And again, you can see it says that it is signed by Iris Finnegan. Very clearly, this is the woman that we are looking for. This is Kamala's grandmother, alleged grandmother, Beryl. It's also interesting, by the way, that it lists her great-grandmother as a seamstress because Donald Harris, Kamala's father, wrote in a 2020 piece called Reflections of a Jamaican Father, quote, Miss Iris, that again would be his grandmother, was the mother of 8 children, too, was the sweetest and gentlest person one could meet, but underneath it was a tough farming woman who ran the cane farm at Thatch Walk near Annan Town, jointly owned with her husband, Mr. Christie. Okay, that's weird. So you're telling me that she ran a farm because on that birth certificate, it says that actually Iris was a seamstress, but whatever. Let's just park that aside for a second and stick with Beryl, this woman who died before Kamala was born.
So real quick, if you're not catching what she's saying, number one, Kamala in her book posted a picture of her visiting her paternal grandmother at the age of like 20, 21 years old. But in actuality, her grandmother died 4 years before she was born. So, number one, how could she take that picture?
Exactly. Who is that person?
And what's crazy to me is why doesn't anyone ever ask her these questions? If this was Donald Trump, they'd be all over it, man. They'd be all over it. Let's go.
They've been all over it.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Candace Owens is not an enemy that you want.
Not at all. I wish we had more females like her, Mo.
Right. Let's get it.
Okay. Because I was feeling pretty certain that not too many people were going to be named Beryl and be born in the St. Anne parish of Jamaica in 1917 to a mother named Iris Finnegan. I felt confident that we could find a little bit more data, and in fact, we did. Okay. First, we stumbled across Beryl's marriage certificate. Okay, so you can see that right here. And now the name spelling has changed. You have Beryl Finnegan spelled with a Y in the same way that Kamala spells it. And it lists their married date as 1944. Again, you can see the parish that is listed is St. Anne Parish. This is where every piece of Beryl's life seems to take place. It reads here that her calling is a barmaid. And something that jumped out at me was the fact that she's married to someone, as you can see, named Lawford Newland. Okay, so Beryl apparently was married more than once because Lawford Newland is not Donald Harris's father, but Beryl is his mother. So just to be clear, again, it says that she married a guy named Lawford Newland in 1944. When she was 25 years old, okay? It's important to note that that would have been 4 years after she gave birth to Donald Harris, Kamala's father. I find that to be very strange. Also, regarding Kamala's father, we cannot seem to locate, regarding Lawland Newland, the person that she married, we can't find him. Can't find him anywhere. We cannot find a birth certificate. We cannot find a death certificate. We can't find a news item or otherwise. I cannot find this alleged Lawford Newland that apparently her grandma got married to. We also can't find a wedding certificate for Beryl and Oscar Wilde Joseph Brown Harris. That is allegedly supposed to be Donald Harris's father. Okay, so Kamala's grandfather is Oscar Wilde Joseph Brown Harris, and we can't find a marriage certificate between the two of them. That's very strange. As speculated, we were able to confirm that Kamala's Black grandmother that she showed us in that picture died in 1960, before Kamala was born. I can show you right now her death certificate. Let's take a look at Beryl's death certificate, which confirms. As you can see there, it says that she died in July of 1960. It also tells us on the right-hand side, you guys will probably have to zoom in on this, but she died of a uterine infection, uterine fibroids due to a hysterectomy. It has her listed as 39 years. That's actually a couple of years off from 1917, so somebody may have gotten their math wrong here. But you once again see that it lists her birthplace as St. Anne. And so this is a huge scandal. Just an absolutely huge scandal.
And nobody's talking about it. Well, I mean, except us. I mean, this video already since yesterday's got like 1 million something views. And the video that she did already today is soaring towards 1 million.
But you notice how back when Donald Trump was first starting to run for president, he talked about his father giving the money, his father being this and that. And it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
No, I hear you.
Kamala Harris published in her book that she was standing next to her grandma Beryl. But grandma Beryl died in 1960, 4 years before Kamala Harris was born.
Take the wall, I left the wall.
So who the hell is the real Beryl? Who is that woman standing next to Kamala Harris? And do you know what I noticed about that woman sitting next to her? She looks a lot like the woman that Kamala claims in her book is her great-grandmother, Iris. Now, that's Iris Finnegan. Here's the book with my great-grandmother, Iris Finnegan in Jamaica. Now, I'm going to give you the side-by-side of Iris and her alleged daughter, Beryl, who died at 39. Now, that woman on the right is not 39 years old. She's clearly much more advanced in her age.
Yo, this is crazy, bro.
Right, it's the same fucking person.
It's the same, bro. Her grandmother died at 39, and she's saying that she's taking a picture with her.
Then who the hell is that child?
Bro, dog.
What are we doing here, man?
This woman is full of cap, bro. Let's go. Let's go.
I mean, we know black don't crack. I mean, that's just a scientific fact. So I would put that woman on the right-hand side who she tried to pass off as Beryl, and I think is the exact same person. I would say that woman looks to be about 65. And then it looks like she's more advanced on the left-hand side. The great-grandmother, that's the same person. When I just believe my own eyes, we're looking at the same person. What do you guys think when you look at those photos? How the hell does a person who is the vice president of the United States pass off a book, claim that these people that are in her book are her black relatives, and nobody bats an eyelash or does even a peripheral search to recognize that the woman that she put forth is implausibly her grandmother? And by the way, I'm going to say this and people can be offended, but the first thing that I thought when I saw the photo of her sitting on her great-grandmother's lap was that this doesn't look like a grandparent affection going on here. Like, this woman looks like she could be working for the family. Quite literally, I thought to myself, this woman looks like she could be the help. And I thought that because there's a lack of affection there. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no, like, in both of the photos, there's a lack of affection. It's just like a woman standing next to her. And I obviously know that that was a circumstance. When you're talking about a family that had a ton of plantations, which is the reality. She descends from Irish slavers. That is a fact that Kamala Harris cannot deny. She descends from wealthy Irish slavers who virtually they did own the town. They named the town. It was Hamilton Town, then it was Brownstown in Jamaica. He had over 1,000 slaves, okay?
That's another thing that people don't talk about. Like, how do you people keep running around talking about how black this woman is? Number one, she's not from America. Whether her biological father has some black in him or not, that's still not black. You know what I mean? It's still not black. Number two, the only family of his that he talks about is the Irish slave owners. And they owned thousands of slaves. Well, I don't get how these people want to I don't even get the identity politics here, because she doesn't identify with you.
Unless she has to.
I mean, she has to now until she becomes president, but then she'll go back to being Indian.
Right, basically.
Just like she did when she became senator. Just like she did when she became the vice president.
She has an Indian accent real good.
Right.
It would follow that there would be help around the house. And I'm just going to put here as a question mark, not as a fact. If they're looking at some of these photos of people who became like family and they're trying to pass them off like relatives, again, not a fact, a huge question mark, but my instinct tells me that that person is actually not her family member. And if it is, well, Kamala's got some explaining to do. How did she meet Grandma Beryl almost 20 years after Grandma Beryl died? Because Kamala Harris looks to be about 20 in that photo that she presented. Then there's another bit of a mystery, as I said. If Beryl married after her or before her wedding when she was 25 years old to the missing Newland, if anybody can find Newland, please let me know. But if Beryl married at some point Oscar Wilde Joseph Brown, where is their marriage certificate? And where is their divorce certificate? Again, I'm only prodding the narrative here because I'm going to need proof that she's black. The media has now made this a thing, and now you made it so much of a thing that you're attacking people like Janet Jackson when she asks a very reasonable question that you should be able to respond to. And now we have a verifiable lie that Kamala Harris told in her book, or a big uh-oh, because, you know, if I'm being nice, I guess sometimes You think when you're publishing a book that it's a photo of you and your grandmother that you never met or never could have met. Maybe Kamala was just confused and thought it was her grandma, but it was a grandmother that she had, again, never met. Media should be on this, and they should be asking her this question. How did you make this significant of a blunder in your book? And isn't it quite ironic that every photo that you have presented, two of which look like they're the exact same person, one aged on, which begs the question, is that even Kamala Harris in her lap?
That looked like a little boy, to be honest with you. It looked like a little boy.
It does look like a little boy. So I asked him, who's that kid in the photo, man?
This is ridiculous. I pray for Candace Owens every day.
Man, she needs to be on President Trump's advisory board.
Bro, and what's crazy is, YouTube demonetized her for no reason, bro.
Yeah, I heard.
She's out here giving out this shit for free. So kudos to Candace.
Yeah.
All right. Let's play a little bit more.
I don't know. Again, we're at the beginning of this investigation. But it's interesting that amongst all of the relatives, so many Irish white slavers, the only photos that she chose to put in this book are the ones that make it look as though she might be Black. And we have just significantly and without question debunked one of those photos. Also, there's something else that I notice about Beryl and Oscar, this alleged married couple, right? Our alleged husband and wife. Each of them are listed as having a lot of siblings. Oscar's siblings are named Hildred May Harris, Newton Alexander Harris, and Ina Doreen Harris. I cannot find a single photo of these siblings. Now, why am I looking for it? Well, because people take family photos all the time. Tons of the stuff is on the internet. I mean, one of those people lived until 2005. Ina Doreen Harris allegedly lived until 2005. I would just like to see a photo to confirm that these are Black relatives. I just want to confirm their race. Can't find a trace. Similarly for Beryl Finnegan has siblings too. Their names are Abraham Judah Finnegan, Noah Pendergast Finnegan, Bernard Washington Finnegan, and Gloria Eugenie Hill. Where are they? Or where are any photos of them, presuming that they've passed? Where are the photos of them? They've got to be somewhere, right? Something very suspicious is going on. I don't know how it is plausible, guys. Do not allow the media to gaslight us. It is not difficult, okay, for a person that is running for president of the United States to have a tidy background. This is my mom. This is my dad. This is my grandma. That it always seems to be the case that right before they run, they introduce like one or two photos that they allege are from their childhood. This is my grandma. This is my mom. And if you ask any more questions, I'm going to scream at you and call you a racist, is completely ridiculous. We now have a scandal on our hands, okay? And again, this is the tip of the iceberg. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep looking for these relatives. I'm going to confirm that all of these people are in fact Black. I find it strange, just as a little tidbit, that when you go on these genealogy websites, you can see that there's somebody managing the profile. All of the people that are managing the profile for Kamala's relatives are white. What interest would white people around the United States have in managing the profile for this Jamaica family? Unless what Janet Jackson said was true.
You don't want to fuck with Janet, man. Right.
Take the weed and leave the money now. Take the what and left the what? Blood clot.
And that these are her white Irish relatives, and she's been hiding that fact by trying to introduce some random photos of a woman and purporting that that woman is her grandmother. Again, if she's been with you throughout your entire life, Kamala, you could drop some more photos, but no matter what, you lied in your book, okay? You lied in your book. That woman died in 1960, and you were born in 1964, and I find that to be extremely problematic. Like I said, I'm in these streets, just like you, Kamala. So if you want to come out and tell the truth, I'm going to be on this. Otherwise, you might as well come up with your storyline, because I don't tend to let go when I have the scent of somebody who's telling a lie. All right, guys, we will pause there. I want to remind you about Goldco. This election season has been insane. We really don't know who is going to win in November, least of all this information now coming out about Kamala.
All right, so boom, that's that for that video. Now, I want to show you what she came back with today. All right, so we're going to get to that. All right, let's go. This is what she did today. Yeah, Candace Owens is on a roll too.
And the truth hurts.
She is on a roll. All right, let's get to today.
Suddenly, you can see that and then my instinct got back. I'm not racist against black people. I am black. Was her grandmother here? I mean, I'm just shaking. So look, if you're just jumping into this, you got to stop and you got to go back 2 episodes and play catch up. Episode 70 and episode 71, because we're not going to do too much recapping here because I want to jump right into this. Basically, someone came for Janet Jackson and I answered the door. It was a discrepancy that was in Kamala's book. A woman that she said was her grandmother named Beryl, a picture of her and her grandmother Beryl. Here it is, visiting my paternal grandmother Beryl in Jamaica. And then I did just a brief search online and found out that Beryl allegedly died 4 years before Kamala was born. So that's a major red flag. Then I had a little bit of a gut instinct. The photos that were being presented of Kamala and her grandparents, great-grandmother and Beryl, I just felt that the women, or the woman, because I think they look remarkably alike, I just feel that maybe this woman was the help. And I'm not saying that because she's black. I'm not racist against black people. I am black.
Oh, wait a minute. We got some breaking news here. And we'll get into this after we finish with Candace. But breaking news, New York City Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted by a federal grand jury. Good gracious. And shout out to Riaciona, Puerto Rico. I do not know how to pronounce that, but he just put it in the chat. Swag Adams, that's Eric Adams, has been arrested. So we will cover that once we're done with Candace. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. All right, let's get back.
I'm saying this because there's just a lack of emotion there. Like, I don't know if it's just my grandparents, but when they're with you, they're like super cuddly and cute. And this woman's just kind of very serious each time that she's being featured here. So anyways, what happened was we sourced Beryl's birth certificate. And then my instinct got a little bit stronger because her name was spelled differently in the birth certificate, right? So you see that it says Beryl spelled B-E-R-I-L, Magdalene. And we know for a fact, by the way, so people that are submitting other birth certificates, this is definitively the correct birth certificate because it says Iris Finnegan. And we know based on Kamala and Kamala's father, Donald J. Harris, that Iris Finnegan is the mother of Beryl. And then we see that her name changes, the spelling of her name changes, rather, by the time that we looked at her marriage certificate. Suddenly you can see that the marriage certificate has her name being spelled with a Y. Now that to me signaled that maybe she definitely is the help, and I'll tell you why. So my grandfather, before he passed away, maybe like 10 years before he passed away, I got kind of obsessed with trying to find all of these documents pertaining to his life, because I realized like that's my ancestry. And I was having a ton of trouble mining his grandmother's information because on each document, her name was spelled differently, as well as other people in the family. And I was like, Granddad, why is everyone's name spelled differently depending on the document? Like, this is very confusing. Why is it sometimes spelled Liza versus Eliza versus like Lizbeth? That was his grandmother's name. And he explained to me that they didn't know how to read and write. So you forget this. You forget that you had a world the majority of people couldn't read and write, especially if you were not considered like a high-class person. My grandfather grew up on a sharecropping farm. And so what that meant was even if you had a name, if you couldn't read and write, you were going up to the register, whether it was for birth, whatever it was, and you were just telling somebody the name. You weren't saying like, hi, it's Candace, C-A-N-D-A-C-E. You're just saying Candace, and one person might spell it C-A-N-D-I-S. Somebody might spell it C-A-N-D-I-C-E. If you do not know how to read and write, you don't recognize these discrepancies. So that actually, I thought, was a good thing in terms of like my idea that this woman could have potentially just been the help, maybe like on my scent. But I didn't want to be too convinced. Obviously, you know, I lean into the conspiracy mindset because we've been lied to so many times. But like I said, we did find that marriage certificate between Beryl and Lawford Newland. which was in July of 1944. And I want to be clear, guys, we know for a fact this is the correct barrel. So we're not confused here and looking for more documentation.
Bro, she is not playing with Kamala Harris.
Not at all.
She's not playing, man. She is not playing.
And that was a good explanation of how the just being able to now read can have little slight changes in your spelling.
Sure, I mean I've got a lot of relatives in the South, and all of their past documents are just like that,
When it comes to the birth or the marriage, because the correct parents are listed, you can see Patrick Finnegan is listed. And so we know that Beryl's parents are Iris Finnegan and Patrick Finnegan. So that is the correct parent, the correct marriage certificate. But we had no idea who Lawford Newland was. We had no idea that Beryl had allegedly been married after she birthed Donald Harris. That would be Kamala Harris's father. Thought that was quite strange. She would have been 6 years old in 1944. Donald Harris was born in 1938. So this means that she got married to this guy, Lawford Newland, and she had a 6-year-old. So I thought that was quite strange. I couldn't find anything on Lawford Newland, but somebody on the team was able to determine that he arrived on a ship to New Orleans. He arrived in New Orleans, from Jamaica, in May of 1943. So we're showing you here the ship manifest, and Lawford Newland is on the ship, and he is listed as, he's listed as a Negro. He's Black. It says his marital status is single. That would be correct because this would have been a trip the year before he got married to Beryl. So quite strangely, he went to New Orleans, and then I guess he at some point had to have gone back just a year later to get married. We still have not been able to locate the relevant marriage certificate between Oscar Harris. Now that's, again, Kamala's dad. His father is Oscar Harris. We cannot find that marriage between Kamala's grandfather and Beryl. So that's a huge question mark there, right? Where is that marriage certificate? If you guys find it, we're checking our emails. And we're obviously aware that there are a lot of different Beryls that are being born in Jamaica at different times. Some people are like, this could be the case of 2 Beryls, and they're sending us different birth certificates. Like I said, we know we have the correct birth certificate. We know we have the correct marriage certificate. We know for a fact that this Beryl did get married, and that Donald should have been 6 years old when she got married. So it begs the question, was this her second marriage? Did she have a child out of wedlock with Oscar Harris? Did she have Donald? And then did she get married? Because it lists her on her marriage certificate as a spinster, which means that she's not married, obviously. And then she gets married to Lawford Newland. And then at some point they would have had to divorce if she remarried and got married to Oscar. So she would have had to have gotten with him, had a child with him, married somebody else, divorced that somebody else, and then gotten back together with Oscar and gotten married. That's a lot of movement. Again, we don't have any documentation, so we're not going to speculate. But Beryl in general, I'm not describing her as the dog that's not barking, okay? So some people were saying, well, I've seen on different websites that there was also a Beryl Harris that died in 1995, and maybe this could potentially be her. We've done the math on that. No, that woman would have been born in 1914. Like I said, we know for a fact Beryl was born. The birth certificates are probably the most relevant source because you obviously wouldn't have a birth certificate written years later after the fact that your child was born, and it says that Beryl was born in 1917. But I started going back to that piece that Donald Harris wrote. Remember, the first time that we were kind of introduced to the fact that Kamala Harris was Black, it was because Donald Harris wrote this piece, which came right behind Kamala Harris's book, Reflections of a Jamaican Father. And I just would like to, by the way, really stress to you how Black he was trying to suddenly make them. I'm just going to read you the first sentence of this by Donald J. Harris, Kamala's father. As a child growing up in Jamaica, I often heard it said by my parents and family friends, "'Member where you come from." And then he goes on and he writes, my one big regret is that Kamala and her sister did not come to know very well the 2 most influential women in my life, Miss Chrissy and Miss Iris. Okay, so those are his grandparents, according to him. Those are both of his grandmothers, maternal and paternal. And then the whole piece is about his grandmother, his two grandmothers, And he wrote, both of my grandmothers had the strongest influence on my early upbringing. And then in parentheses, he writes, not to exclude, of course, the influence of my dear mother, Miss Beryl, and loving father, Mase Oscar. Like, I think it's supposed to be like Massa, like Mase Oscar. Very strange. Again, nobody that I know calls their mom Miss Beryl, calls their grandmother Miss Iris, and calls their other grandmother Miss Iris. There's something about that that doesn't strike me as familial. But again, that's speculation. Doesn't matter. Maybe there is this strange family where everyone, like, they address their mom as Miss, and they address their grandmother as Miss, and they address their other grandmother as Miss. Like,
nah, that shit ain't adding up. That shit ain't adding
bullshit. Oh, you do that shit in the South. What the fuck are you talking about? Come on.
Yeah. Like, Candace got her. Let's go.
That it really isn't up to us to make any conclusions, but that's the first and last time that he mentions his mother, Miss Beryl. Okay, which signals to me that my theory about her having died young. You're saying you're raised by your grandparents, but your mother is around, but you don't talk about your mother or speak about your mother at all in this entire piece. Signals to me that this is correct and your mother died early, okay? You're not mentioning her for a reason. So then this gets crazy. I get an email. Actually, I got 2 emails, but this one in particular made me sit up straight in bed. Like, I'm not kidding. I was like about to fall asleep and I just decided to check the email box, and I sat up. I sat up just like this and started texting everyone. And I woke my husband up. I was like, you have to read this email. This is completely crazy. It came all the way from New Zealand. Shout out to New Zealand. I'll be on tour there soon, you guys. Get out there, buy some tickets, because we're going to talk about this now. That's the only thing I'm going to speak about in New Zealand. But I'm going to just read this this email to you because it's just incredible. Kia ora from New Zealand, Candace. My name is blank. And after your first podcast about the family of Kamala Harris yesterday, I went down the rabbit hole all day looking for photos of Beryl Finnegan Harris's brothers and sisters, as you asked. I was so intrigued and I wanted to take up your challenge. I could not find those photos, but I did come across a record that you might be interested in. I noticed on Kamala's birth certificate, you showed that her father, Donald Harris, was 26 at her birth in 1964, giving him a presumable birth year of 1938. That is correct. He was born in 1938. I'm just saying that as an aside. I came across the attached record of a 1-year-old child who died in 1940 in St. Anne's Parish. This infant's name was Donald Harris. You will notice the baby's father's name that is given was Albert Harris, and there's no mother mentioned. However, you will be interested to notice that a person listed as present at the death of the child was none other than Beryl Harris. She has also signed the death record. What are the chances that Beryl had her own baby named Donald in 1938, and then was also in attendance of the passing of a baby named Donald Harris in 1940? Weird, right? And just to be clear, that we're going to show you that certificate because it would mean that there were 2 Donald Harris babies born that Beryl was around. One was hers and one, I don't know, guys. It's getting weird. I'm going to finish this email, then we're going to talk about it. I have looked for the infant's father, Albert Harris, and cannot find a lot about him. Albert's father name was Abraham Harris. I believe it is possible he was married to a Violet Fearon on the 6th of March, 1935. No record of her passing, so why was she not at her child's death, but Beryl Harris was? Was this baby Beryl's or Violet's? If Donald Harris passed 1 year old, who is the man claiming to be Kamala's father? Oh my gosh, chill. She wrote, make it make sense. I'll keep
She's adopted.
Chills. I was like, what are you talking about? I opened this email so fast. It was crazy.
So what were you saying, Mase?
The bitch is adopted.
By who, though?
God knows.
I mean, the Indian woman is definitely her mother.
I mean, who the fuck raised her? Like, impossible.
Yeah, this is insane. This is really insane.
Bruh.
And let me just show you the attachment. Chills. I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out all over again. It's hitting me. It's a second wave here of what? So yes, you will see that listed here. This is a death certificate that is on the 29th of November, 1940. Okay. In St. Anne Parish. That obviously is where her family is from. And yes, the child's name was Donald Harris. The child died before the child turned 2. So this would mean that it is plausible that this child was born in 1938, the exact same year that Donald Harris Donald J. Harris, Kamala's father, was born. Okay. Can you pull it back up? I'm not done reading through this. Okay, so you have also, it says the certified cause of death is fever and a cold. And it's letting you know, it says the duration of the illness, so that this baby was sick for 1 month, rest in peace. And it does mention that that baby is the son of Albert Harris. And just as this person speculates, it is signed by Beryl Harris, and it tells you, because you're supposed to include this, the signature of the person who was present at the death. And it says Beryl Harris, present at the death. And that is at Mount Moriah in St. Anne. Now, I want to be clear, there is no place to put the mother's name. So it's not like there's anything like strange here. I just think that if this is this Beryl's child, and this Beryl Harris was married to this Albert Harris, or together with this Albert Harris at some time, like that is the reason why it just says that present for the death. Like literally, who else would be present? If your child is dying, less than 2 years old, okay, barely 2 years old, who would you allow to be there in your place? There's no mother on earth that wouldn't be next to their child. So it is very heavily suggested that Beryl Harris was there for the presence of her son, Donald Harris, dying. And that would put that approximate birth of that baby at 1938. Stop the press. Stop the press. Okay. So you can imagine me. Now you're me sitting up straight. Like, what is going on here? Like, actually, what do I know about Kamala's father? Like, this could be a coincidence. I'm sure. Yeah, I guess you could have like a lot of Beryls that are giving birth to Donalds in the year 1938 in St. Anne Parish. Of course, like you have to consider every possibility here, but also consider that this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Okay. So then
I will say though, Jamaica is a crazy place, bro.
Yeah,
there is a lot of foolishness going on in Jamaica. Just like the South. There was a lot of shenanigans in the South. But I mean, it's too much of a coincidence. Even though I wouldn't put it past Jamaica at all.
But that's just too much of a
it's too much of a coincidence. It's too much.
I received a second email. Okay. Very interesting here. Very interesting here. And I'm just going to read the email. I'm just going to read the email and take you through this. What happens when I go through my info box? I tell you guys to message with deets. This email says, "Hi, Candace. See the death certificate below indicating that Beryl Christie was a domestic servant in 1936 when her infant daughter died."
I knew she was the help. It was the help.
Let's go. This is crazy, bro.
So there's another, and this person has written Beryl Christie and lost her daughter. And I'm going to pull it up here at the bottom of this email. She talks about like the birth dates. I'll get to that later. Do you guys have a close up of this? Yeah. Okay. So you can see here, it is Beryl Christie. And this would mean not only did Beryl Christie lose a child in 1940, but prior to that, Beryl Christie lost a daughter in 1936. Okay. Again, all we have here is Beryl Christie. We know that this is potentially the right Beryl. Again, there could be another Beryl Christie going around. I don't want to completely close the door on that, but it is interesting. And I'll tell you why this struck me as incredibly interesting, because when we spoke about the death certificate yesterday, right? And we spoke about this young death of a woman. She's particularly died, Beryl Christie, of fibroids related to a hysterectomy. So if there is a Beryl Christie that had back-to-back, had lost children in some regard, you could imagine that she might have been injured internally. This is a long time ago. You would imagine that the procedures, obviously, are not what they are today. And it is plausible that that woman died young of fibroids from a hysterectomy related to the fact that she had two troubling births, whatever it is, carrying children didn't work out for her. I just thought like, okay, but the big part about that second one is that we now know for a fact that there was a Beryl Christie that was, in fact, a domestic servant. Can you pull that back up again? Because I want to point that out so people can see this. The last one, the close-up of it, if we can. You can see that she is listed as a domestic servant. That girl is listed as the daughter of Beryl Christie. You can see that in that where it says rank, profession, or occupation. Daughter of Beryl Christie, domestic servant. I don't know, guys. Like I said, I'm trying to now, I'm putting in columns to sort through the various Beryl Christies that were born around this time. Like I said, you guys keep sending me stuff, but just to make sure you're filtering yourself, we know for a fact that Beryl Christie was born in 1917. We know for a fact that Beryl Christie got married in 1944 to Lawland Newford, or whatever his name is, Lawford Newland, pardon. And so we don't need a bunch of documents speculating that it could be a different birth, because her parents are listed, and Kamala and her father have confirmed that her parents are Iris and Patrick Finnegan, okay? So we know those are the people that we are looking for. Oddly enough, though, because a lot of people have been pointing out the fact that in her birth certificate, even though we know that that's her mom, Iris, that's the mom's name, Iris Finnegan, it says Magdalene, and then suddenly it converts to Christie. Well, I just wanted to point out to you, because that was a question we were getting a lot, is why would she take on Christie? In Donald Harris's piece, he writes explicitly that Miss Iris, so that's Kamala's great-grandmother, that her husband was known as Mr. Christie. So I'll read you that paragraph. It says, Miss Iris, mother of 8 children, I can't find 8 children, by the way, was the sweetest and gentlest person one could meet, but underneath it was a tough farming woman who ran the cane farm at Thatch Walk, jointly owned with her husband, Mr. Christie. So the reason she may have put Christie, or started using Christie as a middle name, is because that would mean that her father was being called Mr. Christie. Again, we are getting that directly from Donald J. Harris, who I'm now very interested in. I'm now very interested in this particular Donald J. Harris. Obviously, very easy way to debunk this, and maybe there really was just another Beryl Christie that happened to have a child named Donald in the same year from the same parish, would be to just take a look at Kamala's father's birth certificate. And we can't find that. We quite literally cannot find that, and I find that to be very strange. People were writing to me saying, hey, it looks like this was purposefully removed, that his birth certificate was removed, and I would just like to find it, because it would just kind of let me be at ease and know that there's nothing further to look at other than this child, because it's just a very, very strange thing. Okay, I also wanted to just go over everything we do know about Donald J. Harris, because I was interested in him suddenly. And the first thing is, he, according to him, like Miss Christie in this piece, is his paternal grandmother. He calls her Miss Christie. He acknowledges that they were descendants of the slave owner Hamilton Brown. And he is the founder of Brownstown. That's another thing that strikes me as very odd, and maybe there's something I'm missing here. But if you were a person that established a town and you had over 1,000 slaves, would you really just openly be married to some of these slaves? Like, is that something that would happen? I know that obviously they would have relations with the slaves, and that's something that is a reality. But in the way that they speak about their family, it's like they were just openly married with slave owners and slavers, which I find to be a little bit strange. As I said, he claims that Miss Christie owned and operated a dry goods store, and that she died in 1951 at the age of 70. Then we have Miss Iris, who he mentions, that's the maternal grandmother. We can actually get up this, we can get up the family tree so people can see this. He mentions Miss Iris, and that is the person that he completely fawns over. That's his maternal grandmother, Miss Iris. She was a farmer, an educator, he claims. And he also says, which I find to be quite strange, remember, he says he has the strongest relationship with Miss Iris, doesn't even mention his mother, Beryl. By the way, these photos are the ones that have been provided by Kamala herself and her father. I cannot verify that these are accurate photos, but we're just going to use the ones that they're given. But what's quite strange is he says that Miss Iris's ancestry is unknown to him. So I guess they never had that conversation, despite how close they are. Again, she jointly owned the farm with her husband, Mr. Christie, and he died in 1981 at the age of 93. Sorry, pardon. He says that she died at at the age of 93, at the age of 1981. That's Miss Iris. Then you have Joseph Alexander Harris. Now, that is the person who we are to understand that she was married to. The Harris name comes from his paternal grandfather, Joseph Alexander Harris. He was the landowner and the agricultural produce export, and he refers to the family property as Orange Hill. I think we need some Jamaicans to go out here and just start verifying stuff for me. And that Uncle Newton took over Orange Hill and started a limestone mining and brick producing operation in addition to cattle, grass, fruit, pimiento farming of earlier times. Now, again, I am just trying to understand how she came from a middle class background. I mean, people that had slaves were super wealthy. It sounds like they always owned land, that they always potentially had servants. So I'm just trying to understand where this middle class background comes from. My producer put in a note here that people in the live chat are saying that it's a Creole language, as native to Jamaica, when he starts speaking in this tongue. Okay, I literally didn't know that. I'm sorry, but I just found that he was writing in this way, which I found to be quite strange. I felt like he was trying to sell to us that they were definitely Jamaican or they were like descended from slaves, and they had slaves. So obviously his family actually had slaves, thousands of slaves there. So I thought that he was trying to lean into the slave language. So I'll correct that if that's actually English Creole. Okay, I'm going to take a break here and just speak about one of the sponsors of the show before I get into some of your comments and we speak more about this. This episode is sponsored by
All right, so I don't think there's really any more pertinent information that she gives off of that. But I mean, what's your take on this, Mr. Meze?
This is crazy. Like, so I guess her father's been fucking the help, and it's like then.
Oh, I gotta tell you, we gotta watch the F-bombs, man. They took me down a couple episodes ago.
Oh, gotcha. So the pictures that she's showing the kid, so I guess that was the actual help. She was a servant for the family.
Right.
So she's trying to pass her off as her paternal grandmother. It's like, come on, man. So now it's like your whole bloodline needs to be checked out and fact checked. Make sure, even if just to make sure you're an American at this point. You know
right.
What I mean?
Well, I mean, she's not an American. I mean, both of her parents came from somewhere else. I mean, she's an American. I guess they became legal citizens.
But I mean, was she born in America? That's the only way she can run for president. She was born here.
That might be why all of this stuff is being hidden. But I mean,
if she wasn't born in U.S. soil, you cannot become a United States president. So that would be my next one. Where were you born? Like, where was she born?
I think she was born. I think it's confirmed that she was born in the U.S. I don't know though, but I believe that's confirmed.
I hope so.
Because if it wasn't, trust me, it would already be up.
But it just shows you like the kind of like the hypocrisy of the Democratic Party. You know, like I said, when Trump was running for president, they brought his background with his father. His father was a KKK member. He gave him millions of dollars and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when we do it for Kamala, you call it racist. You call this. You call that. I'm like, dude, if you don't want us to do it to you, I mean, not like it's tit for tat, but you know, you gotta call a spade here. You know what I mean?
Facts. I mean, you know, we're gonna keep our eye on this situation. I'm pretty sure Candace Owens will be back live tomorrow with some more information if she finds any, and we'll just go from there. Real quick, Meze, did you catch the earlier parts of the program?
Certain parts of it, yeah.
What part did you come in on? Pause.
I think I came in on the part where I can't remember.
You didn't see the crazy. Did you see the crazy TikTok lady that said you should divorce your husband if he's voting for Trump?
What? Nah, are you serious?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. But
and you wonder why there's such a discord between black women and black men. It's like, dude, you're supposed to be following us, but you want us to follow you.
Well, it was actually a white woman. Yeah, she actually looked kind of crazy too.
Well, then even worse, because there's no way I want a woman to lead me into fucking war if we have to go to war. I'm sorry, I just don't want it. It's not gonna happen.
So, and you know, I want to show you this chart too that I showed earlier, right? Because of course the woman ended her rant basically saying that Trump is against abortion, which he's not, which he stated already.
I heard that part that you came in on.
But let me show you this real quick. Let me show you this. So
Okay.
This was the craziest thing to me. This chart, right? You can see the green is the men, the orange is the women, right? Clearly, the economy, democracy, immigration, and inflation mean a lot to men. Don't really mean much to women. But look what means the most to the women. Abortion, bro. Abortion.
This is crazy. Like out of all the other things that basically would affect your livelihood, you choose abortion.
All day. I mean, this is from women aged 21 to 29, I believe. 21 to 29, I think, in America.
Why is that such a hot topic versus all the?
No, excuse me, 18 to 29.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's all about the right to have reckless, unprotected intercourse.
Yeah,
and get rid of your responsibilities. That's your main concern.
I wish men can do that. I wish we can get rid of our responsibilities. You know, you want to have that child? Okay, fine. I don't want to pay for that child. So make up your mind.
Like I said, you call a man who wants that a deadbeat, but what do you call a woman? What do you call a woman who does that?
I don't want to curse. But that's what they are. That's all I can say. I'll let everybody else fill in the blanks.
I hear that. But yeah, man, that's pretty much.
And another thing is that Trump was not against certain types of abortions. For instance, even on the debates, he said he was make certain, exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. So I mean, that's another thing people got to understand. Like, do your research.
And because he was saying he's against late term, which is crazy. Week 7th, 8th, and 9th month, where the baby still has.
Yeah, who does that? And
man,
even
I see
after birth abortions,
bro. I see it all the time at work. These women be having full-on babies come out. Like, it's disgusting because it's a bunch of abortion clinics like right around where I work. I work for the fire department. It's a bunch of abortion clinics around there. So every time they have a little mishap, we come and have to deal with it. Or a lot of the hotels around there, a lot of the women who come from like Kentucky and Houston and all those places who don't let you do them late term joints, they come stay at them hotels and they have little mishaps while they're at the hotel. Because what you do is you take the abortion pill and then you come back the next day and they do the procedure. Sometimes the baby just comes out without the procedure.
Oh shit!
And I've seen full grown babies in toilets and trash cans, all that stuff, man. It's the worst thing you could ever see.
So Trump was right about the debate. Like all the afterbirth abortions people still having, and it's just like,
it's 7th, 8th, and 9th month abortions, but it's not the baby's born and they kill it, but it might as well be.
No, but see that's the thing. So they kind of proven Trump to be right. So after the baby is born, if the mother just says, I want to terminate the baby, they have that right. There's nothing in the abortion bill that stops that from happening.
Right.
So Trump was right. I don't know why they keep trying to make it seem like he's an idiot or he's crazy or lunatic, but he's actually right. He's actually trying to save lives, really, literally.
I mean, honestly, I think there's a lot of support that is definitely dissipating from Kamala at this point. Like I showed the clip earlier of Mike Tyson and Mase basically saying that they're Trump supporters at this point. What'd you think of that?
So this kind of goes back to the hip hop community or especially the entertainment industry. Like we've been with Trump since the 80s, damn near the 70s. You know what I mean? Especially Tyson, like he said he had parties and Trump came on through. You know what I mean?
Right.
Same thing with all the other entertainment, black entertainers. They had a party, Trump came on through. He donated to their funds, he donated to their charities, everything. Just all of a sudden now he's still fighting for you, but I'm not sure where the mindset of these people went. It's like he's still the same Trump as back then as he is now. And now you love him back then, but you hate him now.
Yeah, but that's because they're all slaves to the mainstream media. But all of that seems to be falling down at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't see this facade lasting too much longer.
And I saw the video you played with the guy that finally came to his senses on Trump being racist.
Oh yeah.
I kind of had the same epiphany too when I actually when I first heard about Trump running for president. I kind of had researched him a little bit and found out all the stuff they were saying to me was edited clips and everything like that. I'm like, what the fuck have they been showing me? Like even when he was pointing in the stadium He was pointing up at the crowd and saying, "Get that guy out of there! Get that guy." If you play the entire clip, right, there was a guy dressed in the KKK regalia who he's pointing at, telling him to get that guy out of there, get the guy out of there. Like back in the day, we would have beat the shit out of the guy. It was a whole guy in all KKK regalia. So I'm like, if you watch the entirety, not 30 seconds, but the entire 5-10 minute clip, you find out this dude has been basically non-racist.
But that's every time. That's every time. Like matter of fact, let me show you how ridiculous these people are. Right? Show you how ridiculous they are. I was. What the hell? My bad. Hold on. All right, let me show y'all this real quick. This is on Willie D's Instagram page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Super Democrat Willie D. Can't really stand him, to be honest with you. This is on Willie D's Instagram page.
Willie D, man.
What the hell is this at? Hold on real quick. Damn it. Let's just go to Willie D. I thought I saved it. All right. Can y'all see that? Yeah. All right. So this is Willie D's Instagram page. And first he posts this, right? It's a picture of, it says Eminem endorses Kamala Harris. And Willie D says, MAGA ain't gonna like this one. I mean, nobody cares, bro. Who cares who Eminem is voting for?
Exactly. Who gives a fuck?
This is the one that I thought was very interesting, though. So he posted this one. This is a flyer for a Trump rally that some gay Republican is throwing. And Willie D says, wait, isn't this an LGBTQ organization hosting? I thought Trump, Kid Rock, and the rest of the Republicans were anti-LGBTQ.
What did they say that?
Y'all just telling people don't vote for Kamala Harris and flip the blue states because she and the Democrats want to flip your kids and bring drag shows to their schools. Y'all changed your minds, or is this just a money grab? Now, first and foremost, I'd like to know, where does Willie D stand on drag queens and all that stuff in the schools? Where do you stand on that, Willie D?
What the fuck, Willie D? You just lost
Oh,
my respect.
you gotta watch the F-bombs, bro.
Oh, you just lost my respect, man. I'm sorry, man. Come on,
yeah, where does he stand on that? And second, when did Trump ever say he was against the LGBT community? I've never heard him say that.
Right.
I've never heard him say that. The only thing I've remotely heard him say was something about trans soldiers.
No, he said one thing. He said he doesn't want to see trans women in women's sports and vice versa.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of a common thing. You don't want to see a full-grown guy in a dress going into your daughter's bathroom trying to use the
right. That doesn't make anybody against a certain community. It's just that's ridiculous and it's sick. So, I mean, I think any decent person. I mean, I know a lot of people that are in the LGBT community that don't stand for that. Like that's crazy.
Right.
But I mean, that's what you get from these people, man. That's what you get from them.
I just can't believe Willie D said that, man.
Willie D says a lot of clown stuff, bro. He says a lot. I've actually done a few shows on Willie D, just exposing how much of a clown he is at times.
Man,
I think he used to be a boxer. Maybe he got hit in the head too much. I don't know.
Man, too many concussions. Damn, Willie.
But I mean, on that note, man, we can wrap this up, man. I'll take your final thoughts.
Man, just do your research. Stop listening to what people say on the internet. Actually read something in black and white. Trump 2024. That's all I gotta say.
Facts. All right, and yet on that note, man, people, listen. Whether you agree, you disagree, or you're indifferent, do me a favor. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that notification bell, and select all for myself and the rest of the crew here at Trippin' Ain't Easy TV. Peace out. Catch you on the next one.